They told me for years there was no money in podcasting. Well, they were all wrong. And today I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the friend, the fan, everything in between. All good words for the one and only man from Canada, Mr. Fretz. Mr. Fretz, how are you, sir? Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me on, Will. And you forgot science teacher, as you once claimed that I was.
Yeah, so that is the origin story that we have to tell, my friends. So for those who don't know, Mr. Fretz, real name is James, right? Fretz, I can call you James Fretz here.
Yeah, you can call him James. Yeah.
So James Fretz from Canada is started out as a fan of the Kings of the Rings podcast, much like my guest from a few weeks ago, the one and only Kay Murphy. Fretz found our podcast somehow, ended up on one of our live streams, and all of a sudden Ricky was just like, we got a comment from a James Fretz. And I just went by Mr. Fretz. And I remember the joke was his name sounds like he is a science teacher. So from then on in, it's just, you can see it in his lower third. It's just Mr. Fretz. I don't ever call him James. It's always Mr. Fretz. So Fretzy, tell me the story from your perspective, like how you stumbled across the podcast, how you found yourself on a live stream, and how you got the courage to put a comment in and lead us here 4 years later.
Well, I think it was around one of the Summer Slams that were in Brooklyn. So that would have been 2016, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I started getting the genius idea to start live tweeting and talking about wrestling during Raw, SmackDown, NXT, whatever show I happened to be watching at that point in time. And I found my follower count getting a little bit up there. I'm like, who is the Kings of the Rings podcast? And this was when Dusty Dave was a part of your crew. Shout out to Dusty Dave, by the way.
Shout out to Dave.
And I saw, now they're I was bored one night. I was off work, scrolling through Twitter, and what is live? Because I had Twitter for about 5 years at that point, and I still didn't know how to do it. Still kind of don't today, but I'm like, there's a live stream here, and it's these guys. So they're talking about whatever wrestling event was during that week, and thought, I'll shoot the shit in here for just a little bit. And lo and behold, a meme was born. I was going to go look back and see exactly what episode that was, but you named one after me in like 83, 84, something like that. And you guys are approaching 300 now, just about.
Yeah, we are pushing close to 300. So this was in, I believe it was Tarashuk Towers. There was that era of the podcast.
It was.
Because I graduated from Hofstra 2017. So it was that summer, because Dave, Ricky, and I were in my bedroom of my house after college. So that was that summer. Must have been summer, fall, whenever it was. But it's always surreal to me, Fretz, the fact that people actually like the stuff I create. People actually listen to my podcast. It's not just like, my mom, my girlfriend, or my friends. So I guess, like, what was it? What was it about the three of us that made you stick around?
It had to be just your senses of humor, and you guys weren't just boringly, droningly talking about wrestling. I had been a big fan of podcasts at that point for a couple of years, because I spent a couple of years doing night shifts at my job at a grocery store in town. And I thought, I need some time to kill the time, because the radio station we had on at work sucks ass. Like modern pop music, like at the time, like people like Lord. Yeah, no, not my forte. So I need what's going to make the time go by. So I discovered Talk is Jericho, the Attitude Era podcast. I'm like, these guys don't post enough. I need more content. Lo and behold, I found you guys through a wrestling podcast, but it was through following each other on Twitter. I don't know who did first. And I thought, this is going to do good. And just your humor, you guys not only cover it, but I love all the sidebergs, as you would coin, we do coin them sidebergs.